right. Let me wait for my slides, hopefully, to show on the screen. But yeah, like Dan said, my name is Marlene. I currently work at Microsoft. I work as a developer advocate on the Python on Azure team. And our team also gets to work really closely with the VS Code team. I love VS Code, use it all the time. So very excited to be speaking about it this morning. So before we get started, I want to just quickly do a brief introduction to what MCP is. I think some good context for us to have when we're talking about MCP is that over the past few years, we've had this really massive shift in AI-assisted programming. So previously, when you would use something like GitHub Copilot in VS Code, we would be able to ask it questions, and it would be able to do things like code completions, maybe helping us edit a file, but it had a lot of limitations to it. And so earlier this year, the VS Code team added something in called agent mode. Have any of us used agent mode before in VS Code? OK, very cool. And with agent mode, it really turns Copilot into this autonomous AI programmer. So now when you ask Copilot for assistance with coding, it can plan, execute commands in the terminal, iterate on multi-step tasks, and even do its own debugging of its own code. So in other words, we have seen the rise of something called agentic coding. And agentic coding is fantastic. We've seen over 20 million people using GitHub Copilot and really seem to be enjoying it. But there was something missing, a very key piece missing. And that key piece was real-time context. So if you're a developer, there are a number of situations where you'd want to give context to your coding assistant. One of those examples could be if you have a repo on GitHub and that repo, you have some issues on it, you want to give Copilot those issues and have it help you fix them. Another situation could be if you have tools or resources that are not part of your IDE, and you want to also bring those in and have those be used by Copilot to help you with your coding flows. So all of these things were missing. And so this is actually where MCP came to the rescue. And MCP, for those of us that don't know what it is Model Context Protocol. And it is an open protocol that standardizes how applications provide context to LLMs. So when we're talking about MCP, there are three key parts of it for us to understand. The first is MCP hosts. So these are things like VS Code that actually want data from MCP. So they're looking for that context for that data. The second are clients. And clients are sometimes going to be the same as your hosts, but not all the time. And these are going to be, they're going to actually be maintaining the one-to-one connection with your MCP servers. GitHub Copilot is a good example of a client. And then servers are lightweight programs that expose specific capabilities through MCP to provide that context to your hosts and your clients. So you can be able to build your own server, and we're going to see that today, or you can access the mini servers that are out there as well. Something that's very, very cool is that literally last week, this is brand new, GitHub announced their GitHub MCP registry. And this is going to actually be the primary way, if you're a developer building out MCP servers, this is how you're going to be able to get your MCP server into VS Code for other developers to use in the IDE. And so this is going to be pretty important. It's currently limited at the moment to just partner servers that VS Code and the GitHub team have vetted. But after some time in their announcement, they did share that developers are going to be able to actually have their own servers or the servers they develop to be uploaded to this registry as well. And part of the demo I'm going to be showing just now is going to show you how you can do that. So for the most part, for this talk, I'm actually going to switch now to mirroring my screen. I'm going to be mirroring. I'm going to try to do some demos. I haven't actually seen many people doing live demos for this. So let's just pray the demo gods are on my favor today. So before we get started, just the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the terminal. I have just created this very nice UI in the terminal using a Python package called rich. And this will just help us walk through some of the key concepts we're going to see in the code. So when you're building out MCP servers in Python code, there are going to be three main things you're going to be building. The first is MCP tools, and these are just functions. So I'm going to be talking about Python because I'm a Python programmer, but you can do it in whatever language you want. You want to have functions that the LLM can invoke to perform an action or to get data. The second thing is prompts. And prompts are going to be pre-written templates that are reusable and can be executed, can be exposed to the client when the user asks them to be. And the final thing is resources. And resources are read-only file-like data that can also be exposed to the client. So this doesn't have to just be files. It could be data from a database somewhere, but most of the time these resources are going to be read-only. Then a bonus point that we're going to see in the code as well is something called sampling. And sampling is a way for you as a developer in your server code to invoke the client to do an LLM call, so that from the client side, they actually have whatever model they've chosen, run this call, and the data comes back to you in your server, and you can share that or change that data anyway to get to the user. So we're going to see all of this in our code. What does this look like practically? When you are actually then setting up your server in Python and VS Code, the first thing you want to do is install MCP. So if I'm using Python, I'm going to run pip install MCP. You can use UV, you can use whatever you'd like. The next thing is you want to have your file where you're going to write your code. And so what this looks like is I usually will create a file called server.py, and then I'm going to import fast MCP from MCP. And after that, I'm going to instantiate my server. So this line of code here actually generally creates a server. Underneath that part where you're instantiating the server, you're going to be adding in your tools and resources and prompts. So we'll see what to use to write the code for that. And then right at the end of that server file, you're going to put in this mcp.run command. And that, whenever your file is then run, that's going to actually start your server and connect it to the client. So this is pretty much the structure you are going to see in all servers. So that's what it looks like if you're building an MCP server in Python. And then specifically for today, we are talking about setting up MCP servers for VS Code. And in VS Code, there are three things you need to do to be able to set up your server. And we are going to see how to do that in real time. So first thing you need to do, the first thing we want to do is we want to create a folder called .vscode. And after we create the folder, we are going to create a file. And in that file, we're going to call it mcp.json. Okay? And then after we've created this mcp.json file, we need to put in the configuration that will allow our client, which is GitHub Copilot, to recognize where our server is going to be. So we're going to copy this here. I'm going to paste this. And so you'll see that here I have a server.py file. We'll look at that in just a second. But I have pasted this configuration. And when I save this configuration, you'll notice that this gray stuff starts to appear here. And it recognizes that there's one tool in the server. And what's happening is that it's noting that the server.py contains some MCP code, MCP server code, right? And we want to call the command that we would call in the terminal to be able to run this file. That's what's happening here. So we see that it's recognizing there's one tool. Let's take a look at what that tool looks like in our code. So this should look familiar. We saw this in the terminal just a second ago. Here we're instantiating our MCP server. And then we're talking about tools. So tools, like we mentioned, are just Python functions, or JavaScript functions, whatever functions you want. And then to be able to actually change your function to an MCP tool, you want to use a decorator in Python. So here we would have, we've instantiated the server, then we're going to put the @ in front of MCP, and then we'll use this tool method. And then there are two things we're passing to the tool here. The first thing is the name of the function. And the second thing is going to be the description of what the function does. So the description is really important because that's what your LLM is going to read. So the better your description, the more detailed your description, the more likely it is for your client to recognize that this is the right tool to call. So in this example here, we have a get speaker session function, and basically this function is going to take in a speaker name and it's going to give back the session that the speaker is speaking in. I have a schedule.txt file that I created that just has information about the schedule for this conference today. So here we also have, I mentioned sampling. When we use this context here, we can import it into our code, and then we can use that to be able to pass the prompt through, and then the user's LLM is going to run this command for us. So the prompt I'm going to be passing through is, we'll pass through a speaker name, and then we're going to say, based on the conference schedule, tell me about the speaker name's session. So we can see how this works with GitHub Copilot. I'm going to start the server. And another thing I will mention, if you are using sampling where you want the client to be able to run the LLM, what you do need to do is you go to extensions and you can look for the server, and then you want to set configure model access and choose the model you're going to use. I'm going to use Claude Sonnet 4. I'll select OK. And then let's test this out and hope it works. So we can see it's running. Hopefully this should work. I'm going to type in which session is Marlene giving? And then let's run that. And we can see it successfully recognized that the right tool to use was this get speaker session. And it's chosen my name. We can allow that. It's running as expected. It's using our server. And then what it's doing is it's going into the schedule.txt file, finding the context it needs, and then we'll just give the output to the user. So it knows I'm speaking right now, talking about building MCP servers for VS Code. Okay, so we saw this is how tools work in VS Code and Python. Now the second thing we're going to look at is prompts. So prompts are a way that we can make it more convenient for our users to use our tools. Can you imagine, I'm here at the conference this week, I've been meeting loads of speakers that are giving interesting sessions. I'm going to be here for a long time, so I don't want to, every time I meet someone and want to know what talk they're giving, type in which session is this person talking at. I want to just type in a name, and I want to get the information back. So this is one of the ways prompts helps us to be able to save some time. And again, if we look at the code in Python, we can see, I just need to uncomment the code here. And very similar, it is going to be let me just comment this back out. It's going to be, again, a function that's going to take in a speaker name, but instead we're just returning this prompt, which says which session is speaker name going to be speaking at. And then we're also using that same Python decorator, but using the prompt method instead. And so here, another thing we can do with prompts is customize it to based off of the user input. So if a user is, in this example, I'm going to say if the speaker's name, if the speaker works at GitHub, say that this is one of my creators, because I know Martin from GitHub is here, so I wanted to respond in that way. So prompts are, again, another way to personalize the response in some way to the user. So to see this in action with the prompt, we'll restart the server again, and you'll see it recognizes that there's a prompt now, because we added in that decorator. And so let's run, to be able to test out prompts, we don't pass through a question. Instead, we use this slash command, and then we pick the prompt. And then we can see it's asking for the speaker name. That's the only thing I need to put in. So I'll put in Martin Woodward. He is here from GitHub. So I can run that, and then it's going to auto-populate the information into the chat there, and then I can send that through, and it recognizes the correct thing to call and is looking for Martin's session. Something else to note is that, again, I would say prompts are really good for if you really need something that's deterministic and you want a specific tool to be run. So here in this case, I even specified to say use the get speaker session tool. And then we can see that it recognizes that Martin is one of its creators. So that's great. Now, the final thing we're going to see is resources. I want to hopefully end on 20 minutes. So with resources, these are just going to be that file-like data. In this case, we are pointing to a URI saying this is going to be a document. Okay, and so we're saying that a user is going to pass in a name of a file, and then that file is going to be read, and then that information will be sent to the client, to GitHub Copilot in this case. So to actually test out the resource, we're going to restart it again, the server. It's not actually going to show anything because it doesn't show things for resources. But what we can do is we can click on Add Context, and then we can go to MCP Resources. And it should load in our resources here that's associated with our server. Then I'll ask for a file name. So I'm going to put in schedule.txt. And it's going to attach it here on the chat. So I can ask who was the first speaker at the conference. And then it should be able to read the information there and give me the information. It says Emil spoke at 9:45 from Neo4j. Great. So we have seen how to use tools, we've seen how to use prompts, we've seen how to use resources. So you have your server that you've now built in Python. How do you actually get it available for other people to use in VS Code? Right now, if you go to the Extensions tab and you type out @MCP, if the internet is working today, if you type out MCP, usually what will happen is that there will be a list of MCP servers that is going to populate. And this list of servers is from the GitHub MCP registry. And it's just taking a long time to populate. I'm not sure why. But basically, to be then able to get your server here, you do need to go to this site. So the MCP team, not from GitHub, has created their own registry. And this is an open source registry. It was created by the Steering Council and by Anthropic. And the main thing you want to do is you want to make sure that your MCP server is available in this open source registry. So you'll navigate to this registry, and they have a fantastic guide on how to actually publish your server to their open source registry. And I will say something I want to point out is they also have this prompt that you can give to GitHub Copilot, and Copilot will pretty much do the whole process of publishing your server on your behalf. If you're using Python, something I think is cool is that you can publish your server as a Python package, and they have instructions on how to do that. I was able to do that myself, so I created my own publish MCP server Python package that you can install using pip install MCP. I'm going to go back and see. And then at some point, when they make an agreement with the partnership, all of the servers or the community servers that have been published to the MCP registry, the open source one, will be pulled into the GitHub registry as well. And they'll be sorted as community developed servers and ranked, I think, according to engagement and GitHub stars. So that is pretty much the way that you want to get your servers here in VS Code. They'll show up at some point. And I think that's enough. That's all the time I have for my talk today. So thanks, everyone.